Hello everyone, it's me Rachel Frazier, the owner and director of Yetpraisedancecompany. I want to welcome you to our video today. The topic at hand is structure in your dance practice. But before we get into the meat of the lesson, I want to let you know a little bit about myself. I'm a member of Smoking for Jesus Ministry. I've been there for the last 19 years, actively involved in dance ministry. Why do I say that? Because you need to know who it is that's talking to you and what experience that they actually have. I am the owner and director, like I said, of Yetpraisedancecompany. This is our 5th year in business, and we're an outreach ministry that basically gives the art of dance to the women and girls inside the Kingston community. Let's go ahead and talk about some of our social media outlets. You can find us on YouTube, Yetpraisedancecompany. Go and subscribe and follow. All of the videos that we put on our group pages and different media outlets are all here on the YouTube page. We're on Facebook as Yetpraisedancecompany as a business and Yetpraisedancecompany as a group page. The group page has all the access to your free ministry resources. So if you want to get involved in some of the free videos, quick 8 counts, our leadership training videos, or even get more information about our leadership phone calls, you want to be a part of that group. So with that being said, I don't think I missed anything else. You can check our website out, yetpraisedancecompany.com. You can email us at yetpraisedancecompany@yahoo.com. Any other information will be tagged in the bottom of this video. So what I want to do right now, I want to go ahead and jump into a word of prayer and then tackle this topic of structuring our dance practice. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you and I praise you for today. I thank you for the gift of dance. I thank you that our bodies have the ability to move and do the things that we need to give you glory in dance ministry. Forgive us for our slowfulness. Forgive us for not being quick to practice and meditate on our songs. Forgive us for not really being that open vessel that you can flow through. And I thank you that you're faithful and just to forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness and help us to be who you've called us to be. Give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on how to make our practices more effective. We thank you and honor you. In Jesus' name, amen. So I have broken up this topic into 3 parts. So we're going to jump in with our scripture, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. It says, all things should be done decently and in order. So that is the base for today's lesson. Everything should be done decently and in order. Now, there's many things that you can do to structure your practice in a way that'll flow and be efficient. We're going to tackle 3 of the areas that I think are a major hindrance or an area that we overlook. Feel free to add to your own list, but use this to jumpstart you to get your practice going in the right direction. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is your practice must be set at a specific date and time consistently. If you have practice on Friday this week, Saturday that week, Monday the next week, there's no consistency for your dancers or team members to follow through with. Practice should be every Tuesday at 5 o'clock indefinitely. You make your schedule around the practice schedule, but the practice schedule does not change. Inconsistency is the killer to ministries. Let's say, for instance, you guys are just not having any events coming up. Oh, let's just take the day off. We'll catch back up next week. Don't do it. Still get your group together, practice floor work, technique, watch a video, do something, but utilize your practice time. Don't just let it slip away, fly away. Use it. It's very important that practice time is set in stone. If you're in a ministry, get this clear with your pastor or leadership first, but make sure that they respect the practice time and don't schedule other meetings or other things on that time. But again, that has to get cleared through your ministry head, or whoever's in charge of church scheduling. But ask them to have that be honored, just as the Sunday worship service, the Wednesday Bible study, or what have you. Point number 2 that we want to talk about: the leader must come prepared. The leader must come prepared. The members will never be prepared if the leader does not come prepared. You should be more prepared than anybody else that's going to walk through that door. The very first way that you should prepare is prayer. You need to be covering your team in prayer. You need to be covering your music selection in prayer. You need to be covering your assistants, if you have any, in prayer. But the whole group and everything that you're doing as a whole must be saturated in prayer consistently. Not just one day, not just here and there, consistently, consecutively. Get your group praying, okay? So that's the most important thing under this category that we're going to talk about. Another thing, the leader should come with all of the choreography already prepared. I know there's this thing right now in dance ministry that we're going to dance in the prophetic. Okay? I'm going to deal with that. Dancing in the prophetic and being slowful and lazy are so closely intertwined in today's dance ministry world. A prophetic calling is when basically you're in a church service and the Lord calls you to dance to a song spontaneously, not knowing what's going to happen, or you get an engagement to a ministry to minister and the Lord said, I'm going to give it to you when you get there. But every day you're praying and fasting and listening to the music and getting it in your spirit. You're not just not listening to it or listening to it riding here and there and then, oh, bam, the prophetic falls on me. No, we got to stop using that as a reason to be slowful. Oh, that just hit a nerve. I know I felt you. But if the shoe fit, just go ahead on and wear it. But that is what it is. It is slowfulness. Don't let slowfulness be categorized as the prophetic. Two different things. That's another video. Okay, so your stretching music, your floor work music, or any music that you're using for your rehearsal should already be set in on a playlist or a CD or whatever device that you're going to be using to record. That's a biggie. Do you know how much time we waste waiting for a YouTube video to upload? You shouldn't even be using a YouTube video in your practice. If you can't pay 99 cents to download the song, you might not need to be the leader of that ministry. It's about a sacrifice. Put that in your budget that we're using these songs and I need to download them, or invest in an unlimited music club, Amazon, iPhone, something, and get you some music. But you should not be using YouTube in the practice. That music was labored and prayed for and come up with by these artists, and then we're going to go use it for free on YouTube. Give the people the 99 cents, make the playlist, and run the practice accordingly. Okay, you as the leader should arrive early. Ouch, did that not just hurt? Early. You shouldn't be arriving at the same time as the members of your team. So we all pulling up and getting out together, turning on the lights. No. As the leader, you should be there at least 30 minutes early. If your schedule that tight, give them 15. Turn on the lights. Get the air on. Get in there and start worshiping yourself. Get your music set up. Have everything ready for them to come into an environment ready to practice. They're coming from stressful days at work or dealing with the kids or being in some other ministry. Let this be a downtime for them. Point number 3. Every ministry should have some set of rules or guidelines to how your ministry functions. This will help your practice go accordingly. In the rule book, it should state everything that you expect to happen at the practice, when you go out to minister at different venues. Everything should be tediously listed in that handbook. And guess what? The handbook needs to be reviewed quarterly or every 6 months or once a year, but especially every time you get a new member in. Those guidelines and rules or expectations or whatever you want to call them need to be reviewed regularly. So I'll give you an example of my handbook for my dance studio. Inside of that handbook, there's kind of like the do's and the don'ts. You do arrive to practice 5 minutes early. Arriving at the time means that you're late. Our arrival time is 5 minutes prior to the time on the calendar, okay? Those are just some options that you might want to add. Rules are you come properly dressed and practice attire. We do have a uniform that they purchased through our company. Your church may say all black, loose fitted this, that, and the other. But make it known. Type it out. Give them a copy. You can't charge them for something that they don't know. So make it available to the student if they're kids or teens, and also to the parents. The parents can't enforce what they don't know. So these 3 things are just something that I came up with that I believe will help structure your practice. Also, you need to make a class schedule or a practice schedule. Okay, your practice may be an hour. What are you doing at the beginning of practice? What are you doing 10 minutes in? What are you doing 20 minutes in? And then assign somebody in the practice to keep the time so that you stay with the schedule. Our schedule looks a little bit like this. We open in prayer. We go into stretching. We do floor work. We go into choreography. We close in prayer. Use that as a base for your time of ministry or your rehearsal. You might want to add time where you pray in the spirit. You might want to add time where you do different things or you flow in the prophetic. Add that in there. You might have time where you guys just sit down and talk about your day. Whatever the case may be, structure it where everything has a limit and a boundary. I've been in rehearsals sometimes where literally there's no schedule, there's no structure, and nothing gets accomplished. We spend 2 hours and we got 1 8 count done, and we stretched. That's a lot of time to waste. And what it does is it discourages your members to not want to come back to practice. So when you send a text out that we haven't practiced again, they're like, I'm going to miss this week. Yeah, that's what they say. Why I got to go? We ain't did nothing the last time. One last final thing I want to leave you with. Record the final teaching that you gave to your students or to your team members. What does that mean? Let's say, for instance, we're having practice and I've taught the first 4 minutes of a song. I'm going to record that first 4 minutes with me teaching it and with the music. And I'm going to dump it to my YouTube page and send all of the members of the team that link. Why? Because 3 to 4 days a week, your team should be practicing for at least an hour at home. Oh my gosh, I just said the word practice at home. I know that lit some fires. But if this is your ministry and this is what you are called to, you should be training in it. That means just that 1 hour, 3 or 4 days a week should be just practicing the choreography. There's all kind of resources on YouTube. Go and learn how to stretch. Go learn what a plie is. Go learn what a demi-point is. Go learn and educate yourself in your ministry. It's time out for us as a church to just be kicking up a leg and your toe not even pointed. Master your craft. You go to your job, you train for your job. There's on-the-job training. If you're going to be in ministry, train to perfect your craft. So again, I added in those extra 2 things about the recording of your video and actually doing a practice schedule. But hey, that's what's needed. Use these points to be able to get your practice to be effective. I promise you, when you structure it, your team will appreciate practices much more. So with that being said, let's offer up a word of prayer over what we've discussed. Father, we thank you and we honor you and we praise you for the wisdom that you give us in how to structure our practices. I'm asking that every person watching this video would share this with their leader, or if they are the leader, they would seek to put these things in place. But they would do whatever it takes that their ministry would be effective to bring the glory of God into any place that they go to minister in. I pray that the glory of God would even rest in their rehearsals and their practices. I pray that the glory of God would rest even in their homes. Lord, I'm asking you right now that you would get the laziness and the slowfulness out of our ministries, and you would light a fire under us, that we will burn with passion to pursue you even through rehearsal and practice. And we thank you and praise you for it in Jesus' name. I want to thank you guys for being on this video today. Remember, go to all our social media outlets and share the information. If there was one thing that was said that helped you, probably there's one thing or more that could help another ministry. Again, these are just some things that I've learned over the last 18 years that have dramatically changed our ministry and my dance company, and I'm praying and hoping it can do the same for you. We love to get some feedback. Drop it in the comments. If you'd like to see more of this, hit the subscribe and follow button. Bye.